Another day, another New York Jets training camp practice is in the books. And on all accounts, it was the best practice of the year for quarterback Justin Fields. Today on NY Flight Jets Talk, we break down everything you need to know between player quotes, injury updates, key takeaways, and much more, all coming up right here on this beautiful Friday evening. Let's go.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
What is going on, New York Jet fans? Hello, everyone, and welcome back here right into another edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. Shout out to all you guys in the chat for joining us right here on this beautiful Friday evening. A new month, August 1st, 2025. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe on your way into the building. It's completely free, and it helps us grow significantly right here on the show. Appreciate all of your support. As always, questions, comments, thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. You guys can call into the show with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Super chats and memberships are the paid way to help us grow, and they get you raffle entries. So the paid way to support the show, super cool, helps us grow significantly, and gives you an opportunity to win some super cool prizes. Again, questions, comments, thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. Appreciate all of you joining us right here on this Friday evening. Boy, oh boy, another day of Jets training camp in the books. It's August now, so preseason starts for New York in just 9 days. Sorry for the distraction there. Quickly, I was just tweeting out that we were live, for those wondering why I was just looking down. But August is here. August is upon us. That means Jets football is back, baby. Not regular season, but the preseason kicks off on August 9th against the Green Bay Packers. Not a home game. It's all the way in Green Bay. So that's unfortunate, but Jets football is back, baby. We'll see them on the field playing actual games. You know, it's great to react to all the practices, give takeaways, but it's ultimately going to be super cool to see the guys back out on the field, see Aaron Glenn actually coach his first official game as the head coach of the New York Jets. But according to multiple reports today, training camp was a big hit today for the Jets in Florham Park. Many stuck out, especially Justin Fields, who on all accounts had the best practice of his tenure, had the best training camp practice this season thus far. So I want to kind of dive into Fields' performance overall, kind of following along on Twitter, and we'll get a better sense of things tomorrow. I will be there tomorrow. Tomorrow is the official green and white practice, so all of those who are going, hope to see you guys there. Should be a super, super fun day in Florham Park. But on all accounts, Justin Fields really stuck out today, being at two training camp practices so far, covering both of them. Justin Fields was very wishy-washy when I was there, to put it in simple terms. He was very inconsistent. He was up and down. There were some times where I saw him flash from session to session, and then there were times where the accuracy looked like an issue. He was throwing behind receivers. He was holding on to the ball for too long. But today seemed to be the best practice so far for Fields this summer. Something that caught my eye that I saw, in reports today is Arian Smith had a great day with Fields, working and integrating in this offense together. When it comes to Fields, though, overall, in his first 12 passes, in team drills today, he connected with Smith on multiple deep passes today. Arian Smith is someone I find super intriguing on this team because he's vying to truly be the wide receiver 2, the wide receiver 3 on this team, and it's not a, unforeseeable task that he can reach, because when you look at this wide receiver room overall, there's no established talent. You bring in a guy like Smith, who obviously we know him for his speed. We know him for his deep ball ability to get downfield and take the top off of defenses. He can play a significant role on this team, and it's great to see him kind of build that rapport with Justin Fields, build that chemistry as training camp continues. Yesterday, we heard Chris Banjo tell reporters about his progress on special teams, how he's kind of developing there. I mean, whenever you are trusted on special teams as a rookie, especially as a young wide receiver climbing your way in the offensive ranks, it's always great to have a role on special teams. So Arian Smith continuing to try to integrate on the special team side of things while also building a rapport with Justin Fields on the offense. So a nice day for Arian Smith overall. Fields, again, completed the first 12 of his passes in team drills today. So when it comes to Fields, we're not going to see much of him in the preseason. We're not going to see any of him in the preseason, truly. Are these training camp practices the end of the world? No. When I see Fields struggling, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to be a bust. He's going to blow up in New York. He's going to be sitting on the bench by week 10. Absolutely not. It's tough to evaluate a guy like Fields this early, given the fact that first, they weren't wearing pads today as well. That's another thing. No one was wearing pads today. It was a padless practice for the Jets. That, and also given the fact that he's still learning a new offense. It's not like he's been in this system for multiple years. As each day goes by, as the practices continue to progress, Fields is learning a new playbook. Fields continues to adapt to Tanner Engstrand's offensive scheme. So it's also a growing period for him as well. So we can't expect Fields to, complete 15 of 20 passes, like 15, 17 of 20 passes every single day. We can't expect him to, really know the playbook in and out this early. There's still time. We still have a ton of training camp practices left. There's still a ton of days for Fields to stack as he continues to learn this scheme, ultimately before we do see him week 1 against his former team, the Pittsburgh Steelers at MetLife Stadium. So still a lot of room for growth, a lot of room for internal growth with Fields when it comes to learning the playbook, when it comes to adapting to this new scheme, these new principles. But overall, it was dubbed Justin Fields' best practice thus far in Florham Park today. So always you like to see the positives, because training camp is a time where we don't overreact to the negatives, but then we overreact to the positives. We see it each and every single year, no matter who the quarterback is, no matter who the head coach is, no matter what the team is looking like. But it's good to see your quarterback go out there and thrive no matter what the circumstances look like. So don't get too excited. Just a step in the right direction, though, as like I said, Fields continues to learn this playbook. Very, very solid day for Justin Fields. Also point out Arian Smith there, who Justin Fields connected with multiple times downfield, most notably a 30-plus yard completion. So continue to keep an eye out for Arian Smith. He's someone we're actually going to be able to see in the preseason, unlike Fields, someone who continues to vie for a role on this team, continues to, look to climb up this hierarchy and he could be the third wide receiver on this team. I think he could be the second wide receiver on this team. It is just so wide open. So Arian Smith looks to continue to grow every single day. We see him getting integrated on punt return duties. We see him on special teams every day. So continue to keep an eye on Arian Smith, and we'll be able to keep an eye on him as well throughout the entirety of the preseason. Appreciate you all tuning in right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe, completely free, and it helps us grow significantly here on the channel. Questions, comments, thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. Call into the show with the pinned comment. We're going to get to all of those later. Appreciate your support, as always, right here on the show. Some other plays, some other players that I want to dive into today who stuck out. Malachi Corley, folks. He has a pulse, made a few nice plays. They ultimately came out due to a poor offensive penalty, but Malachi Corley has a pulse. He made some nice plays at one Jets drive. He has to continue to stack these days. We need to see more positives from Malachi Corley as roster cuts do ultimately approach. He's someone who is facing an uphill battle for this roster spot, especially when you see guys like Arian Smith, who's already a roster lock, outplay him. He's only upping the ante in his role when it comes to fitting into this offensive scheme. And when you have UDFAs like Jamal Pritchett making plays every day, the third-round pick Corley is going to have to continue to stack these days, make an impact day in and day out, and ultimately catch the eye of the coaching staff. So Corley made a few nice catch-and-run plays today, which is nice to see. Obviously, you know him as the Yak King. You know him for his yak ability coming out of Western Kentucky University. Continue to keep an eye out for Corley. He's one of the most intriguing players as the preseason approaches. A third-round pick just last year, continues to fight for a roster spot. Mason Taylor, someone who caught my eye during both the training camp practices I was at, continues to make an impact, continues to carve out a role on this team's offense. Look, I think he's going to be the second most targeted pass catcher on this team. You have Garrett Wilson, and then you can make a case for either Mason Taylor or Breece Hall to be that second guy. He's going to play a significant role on this team's passing attack, and there's not much proven depth. There's not much proven pieces behind him in this tight end room. You have Mason Taylor leading the way, and then you have Stone Smart, who was added this offseason. Jeremy Rucker entering the final year of his rookie deal. It's put up or show up for Rucker. Neil Johnson, Zach Kuntz, who are those guys? We don't know. Mason Taylor is really going to need to step up, not only as a blocker, which Aaron Glenn has commended him for, but also as a pass catcher and make an impact on this team's passing attack if this team ultimately wants to have success. And obviously run the ball strong, but you need to have a strong passing attack to really catch defenses off guards if you're in a run-first offense. So continue to keep an eye out for Mason Taylor. Another big day for him on the offensive side of the things. Now moving over to the defense, some standouts today. Quantez Stiggers hauled in an interception. Andre Cisco, another great practice with a pass breakup. Ryan Cooper laid a big hit. Stiggers is another guy, draft pick last year. He's going to have to earn a roster spot. You have so much depth in this secondary. You have so many options. Someone who caught my eye being at a few of these practices is Jarius Monroe. The Jets seem to really like him. He played valuable special team snaps last year, someone who Aaron Rodgers ultimately praised at the end of last year. And when you receive praise from Aaron Rodgers and you're not one of his former teammates, you know you're doing a pretty good thing. So shout out to Jarius Monroe. He's someone I've seen making an impact. But Stigger's another guy, a draft pick from just last year, facing an uphill battle. Some say he could fit in at safety. He primarily played cornerback last year in minimal snaps for the Jets. Again, Stiggers needs to stack these days, continue to make an impact and make an impact throughout the preseason. As for Andre Cisco, he solidified his role on this team. He's going to play a pivotal role on this defense this year, in my opinion, as the starting strong safety. We see him day in and day out make an impact each training camp practice, and a Long Island native, someone who's a younger guy who is coming off a down year compared to his 2023 campaign. You want to see him stick out, and he's done just that. So props to Andre Cisco for doing everything this coaching staff has truly asked out of him. Delivered a nice, beautiful pass breakup today as well. Continue to keep an eye out for Cisco, as he's going to play a huge role on this team's secondary. The safety room is so intriguing for the Jets because you just add Cisco this offseason. I fully anticipate he'll be the team's starting strong free safety. When you look at strong safety, you can go in so many different directions. Tony Adams, obviously, someone who's been with the Jets for multiple years now, signed with the team as a UDFA, led the team in penalties last year, has truly been up and down throughout his tenure in the green and white. I think he's going to be the starting strong safety, but you could also make a case for Malachi Moore, 5'10", just coming out of college, very, very young player who the Jets used a 4th-round pick on this year. Is he physical enough to play down low in the box? That's the question that the New York Jets are going to have to ask themselves. So overall, the secondary battle between roster spots and starting jobs continues to become more intriguing, become more interesting day in and day out at One Jets Drive. So continue to monitor that situation with the secondary, with guys like Quantez Stiggers battling for roster spots, while you have guys like Tony Adams and Malachi Moore looking to solidify their spots on this team and truly find a role before the start of the season. The third defensive player who I mentioned there, Ryan Cooper, is the defensive back the Jets picked up after they ultimately released punter Kai Kroger. This is someone who bounced around a ton last year after entering the league as an undrafted free agent. He laid a nice hit. Again, another guy who can potentially make an impact on this team. He's going to have to earn a roster spot, though. There are so many undrafted free agents, so many guys on this team who have the potential to make an impact on this secondary, but each and every single one of them has to earn their respective roster spots. So defensive battle overall between battling for starting positions and roster spots continues to increase day in and day out, and watching this team get out on the field defensively under Steve Wilks and Aaron Glenn, I really like. We heard Steve Wilks address reporters the other day. It was great to see what he had to say. Great to hear from Wilks overall. We haven't heard from Wilks a ton since he was hired. Same goes for Tanner Engstrand. Wilks emphasized yesterday the fact that this defense, he's seen progress, and Aaron Glenn has preached progress. He said that he told us the first day of training camp. That was his message to the players, progress each and every single day. Super Bowl is down the road, day in and day out for training camp. The message is trying to improve on the day before, trying to make more of an impact the next day. And I think that's the biggest thing for this defense, and we're truly seeing that unfold in Florham Park. While there were a ton of positives today, we did see some injuries. Nothing significant, though. Thank God. Let's listen to Aaron Glenn talking to reporters following practice today, where he provided multiple injury updates. Take a listen.
We actually have 3 guys of note. One is Quentin Williams. He has a calf, and we want to make sure that it's precautionary. We want to make sure that this player is going to be good. All right, so we know what he's all about. We know what he can do. And listen, we want to hold him out, and we'll see how that goes. All right. The next guy, John Simpson, he has a back. He'll be just fine. Again, another precautionary, holding him out, maybe a week or two with him. And the last guy is our rookie, Malachi Moore. He has an oblique strain, so he'll be just fine. Guys that we're happy to see coming back, you guys saw Braylon out there today, so he's moving around well.
Starting with the Quinnen Williams injury update there. He suffered a calf injury yesterday, which prompted him to leave practice early. As Aaron Glenn said, they're a precautionary injury that the Jets just want to make sure is all good, and they don't want to hold him out they don't want to rush him back onto the field, and then have him re-injure that calf. So the Jets just seem to be taking it slowly. They seem to be taking it carefully here with all these players. Wouldn't be too concerned. Expect John Simpson to obviously be back out on the practice field relatively soon. Glenn didn't go too deep into the Moore injury, but that seems to be the most significant out of them all. We can potentially see him sidelined for a week or two, which isn't the end of the world. It's not the biggest thing, but you obviously want to see these rookies get back out on the field as soon as possible and continue to adapt to new surroundings, adapt to a new scheme along with a bunch of the defense. And I'm sure this isn't the news that Malachi Moore wants to hear himself as he continues to battle for a roster spot and try to solidify his role on this team, obviously coming in as a fourth-round rookie this season. Those are the injury updates right there from Aaron Glenn. Quinnen Williams dealing with a calf injury. John Simpson dealing with a back injury. Malachi Moore with an oblique strain. And the last player he mentioned there, Braylon Allen, missed one practice and then the team's day off 2 days ago. Braylon Allen back out on the field. Again, they just wanted to give him a break. He was dealing with some knee soreness, someone who I've been really impressed with throughout training camp, someone the Jets have really liked to use thus far. So that's the injuries. That's the latest news from One Jets Drive, the latest news from an injury update perspective, all coming by way of head coach Aaron Glenn. Some comments I want to get into today made by tight end Jeremy Rucker. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, this year is put up or shut up for Rucker. He's entering the final year of his rookie deal. He needs to show coaches, he needs to show this organization what he's about, why he should be back on a new deal. And he also has to show that to other NFL teams. Here's Rucker telling reporters what his role is going to look like this season. Take a listen.
Talking with the staff, I'm excited about it, just to do a little bit of everything, be that consistent guy that can do all the jobs that I get asked and just try and be more dominant and more consistent. I'm going into year 4, so I got a pretty good feel of what it takes in this league, and I've had some great experience and been with some great tight ends, so continuing to grow. I feel really good right now where I'm at, and be that dominant every down, every day kind of tight end that can, do whatever's asked of me.
That's what you want to hear from your player. That's what you want to hear if you're a head coach. You want someone talking about versatility, them being, willing to do whatever it takes to find the field and create a role on this team. So great message there ultimately from Jeremy Rucker. Like I said, again, can't emphasize it enough. Put up or shut up year 4. Been inconsistent. He's now reunited with his college quarterback, Justin Fields. So you obviously hope that'll help give him an advantage this season. He can make an impact this year. There's a reason the Jets drafted him in the 4th round. The tight end room is wide open. He could be a guy who steps up. Absolutely. So look out for Jeremy Rucker here entering the final year of his rookie contract. It's pretty much known that he has to make an impact this season, and he even knows that. Doing a little bit of everything is the message that he sent to reporters today, which I find super intriguing. Look, he has the versatility to line up in the backfield. We saw it minimally 2 years ago. Will the Jets experiment that with this year? Rucker says yes. Appreciate you all tuning in right here on the show. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. I'm Connor Long right here with you guys on NY Flight Jets Talk. Questions, comments, thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. You guys can call into the show with the pinned comment. Super chats, memberships go such a long way, and they give you an opportunity to win some super cool prizes, including a Sauce Gardner signed photo. So get all your super chats and gifted memberships in the chat. They really, really help us grow significantly here on the show. Lou B, baby, drops in with a $10 super chat. Shout out to you, Lou. Appreciate the kind words and appreciate the support, my friend.
Here's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Damn straight, AG. I got a super cool membership and funny membership drop coming soon. I forgot to upload it for today's show. It'll be for the next show. You guys keep super chatting. You guys will get new drops. Appreciate you, Lou. Thank you so much for the $10. Says Connor, in what order do you think the chances of us getting Terry, Scary Terry, or Parsons is any of these guys possible? I know it's hard, but we need to win soon. So obviously, and again, appreciate the $10. We appreciate the kind words. This is something that New York Jets fans are going to talk about. The New York media market, whenever a big name like this cuts loose, whether it's you're talking about Terry McLaurin here, whether you're talking about Micah Parsons, their name is obviously going to be talked about with the Jets being a landing spot. I'll start with Terry McLaurin because I think this is the more reasonable one compared to Micah Parsons. I don't see them making a move at Terry McLaurin. And I don't think it makes sense. This is someone who's entering his 30s. I know you're talking about winning soon, Lou, but this is an experimental year still. This isn't a team that needs to go Super Bowl or bust this season. He's about to turn 30 years old in just a few weeks. Plus, he's going to demand a similar contract to Garrett Wilson. The Jets have a ton of players upcoming that they need to extend beyond Garrett and Sauce. I don't know if it makes sense to dish out, another $120, $130 million contract to someone who's approaching 30 years old when this team isn't scrunched into a 2-year window like they were with Aaron Rodgers these past few seasons. If this happened with the roster they had last year and the situation they were in, I'd say absolutely go ahead and make a move for Terry McLaurin. I don't think it makes sense at this juncture, though. And Micah Parsons, you'd have to give up too much for him. I think Micah Parsons ultimately stays in Dallas and they get something worked out. I view this as a complete negotiation tactic for Parsons, but even if he does get moved, that asking price is going to be through the roof. You're going to have to give up a ton of draft capital. You're probably going to have to give up Will McDonald also in return if you want to make a move for Parsons. And you have to make him one of the highest paid players in the NFL. So the contract there and obviously the hefty asking price. But appreciate the question, Lou. Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate the support right here on the show through all your questions, comments, thoughts in the chat. Call into the show with the pinned comment. Keep loading up all your super chats and memberships. We're going to go back to the chat in a minute. Let's go over to the phone line, though. First up here on the show, the great Kyle Clifton joins us here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Kyle, welcome to the show, and how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Connor?
Living the dream, my friend. Living the dream. Friday night in the summer, can't complain.
You don't think the Miami Dolphins would jump all over Quantez Stiggers if he were to be released by the New York Jets, considering their current circumstances?
They could. That secondary is just depleted right now. I mean, there's so many guys. Like I was looking at the press conference transcripts from yesterday. Someone who they asked Chris Banjo about yesterday, who I completely forgot they added this offseason, was Chris Boyd. And he's a big special teams guy. Like, he doesn't offer anything defensively. How does he fit into the fold? Like, we're going to see a lot of NFL quality players get cut by the Jets this season. I think that's a testament to just the overall depth they have at a handful of positions.
Right. I'm hopeful to see Braylon Allen kind of play up to his physical image as a bruiser this year. Maybe you start the game on the first series with Brees, and then you're bringing in the first quarter and in the third quarter a pretty heavy dose after that of Braylon to kind of soften up defenses if we're going to be running the ball this much. That's something I'm looking for. I'm hoping that this guy is going to take a leap and really be our 1B. Lastly, never get too high or too low, considering that Fields is an experiment, right? We know, and I made this point on Jake's show this morning, the price is right. The physical talent is right for Fields.
Yep.
We know we have an idea in our heads of what he could be, and I use the term, Lamar light, right? And that's just what it is, light, right? Not Lamar, light. And I had some guys that kind of jumped me in the chat this morning. I'm not saying that he's going to be that guy. I'm saying if he approximates this guy with the defense that we think we might have and some of the other skill players that we have, maybe we might have something. Maybe even if, he proves himself to be a guy that can be a stopgap starter while we develop the guy we draft in the first 6 to 8 games next year, and he's our top tier backup for 2026. He's worth the money that we paid him to, and really, he was our only choice.
I like him more than Rodgers personally. Like, I much prefer rolling it out with Fields this season than running it back with Rodgers, even from an on-field standpoint. Just overall, I think in the locker room as well. I think Fields is kind of developing into the leader that we hope he would right out of the gate. And I've been making that comparison for multiple months now, Kyle. I always say, and people, Jet fans, and Jet fan, best fan base in the world, but a ton of people always say, oh my God, you're comparing him to Lamar Jackson. I'm not comparing him to Lamar Jackson. My whole point was, what was the biggest concern regarding Lamar Jackson before he won, his MVP trophy? His accuracy. What's the biggest concern with Fields right now is accuracy. Year in and year out, even with the horrible circumstances he has been playing in, we've seen his completion percentage and his other accuracy metrics go up season in and season out. I think this is the team that Fields has been looking for throughout his whole career, where they're catering to his skill set. They're not building around him per se, but they're providing him with the tools that he needs to succeed at the NFL level.
Well, they want to do what he does best.
Yes.
That's the best way to put it, I think. And he's different than Lamar in a couple of different ways. I think he could potentially be a better leader than Lamar, and he's a tank, and Lamar is not. So, it'll be interesting to see if we can get to a point where, he gets to that 65% completion percentage that we saw, and he takes better care of the ball than he did in his first few years in Chicago, as we've seen in the last few years. And just balls out and takes what's there as far as yards on the ground and airs it out when that's there as well. I really appreciate your time and
of course,
taking this call from outside on the patio, because I'm getting a rep for calling from the inside now. So tell your friends that I have versatility. All right,
you got it, Kyle. Appreciate it. One thing before you go, how many quarterbacks do the Jets carry this season?
They're carrying 2, 1 on the practice squad.
Who's that one on the practice squad? Who do we got? What do we think?
Well, right now it looks like it might. I think it's an open competition. I want to hear what comes out of camp. Brady Cook had a good day the other day. I've heard that Martinez has played well intermittently. It'll be interesting to hear.
Will you be there tomorrow?
No, I will not. I will not. I'm taking a long weekend, and it's hard for me in July and August to leave the beach. But I appreciate the time to talk about the Jets. Thanks, Connor.
Love to hear it, Kyle. Have a good night, my friend. Appreciate the call, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Clifton checking in right here on the show. Shout out to you, Kyle. Appreciate all the kind words. Appreciate your support here on the show, and thank you for checking in with us right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. It's Connor Long right here with you guys on the show. Make sure you smash the like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free. Helps us grow significantly. Questions, comments, thoughts. We're going to begin to get to those. We'll do a Q&A to close us out. So smash the like, hit subscribe. Questions, comments, thoughts in the chat. Call into the show with the pin comment. We'll take a few more calls here. Again, super chats, memberships, get your raffle entries, and they help us grow significantly here on the channel. I want to go back to Lou's comment because I did forget. I read that as Trey. I meant that I read what you said between Trey Hendrickson and Scary. I thought you meant Terry and then Scary. You flipped them in the wrong positions by accident. You meant Trey Hendrickson, as well. Same thing as Micah Parsons. I think you have to give up too much, and I think he ultimately goes back to Cincinnati. So all three of those guys, I don't think it makes sense. If it was last year, it would be a completely different story, completely different case. But I think the Jets are a no-go on all three of those players. The Jets have made it very, very clear that they're content with the roster, and I don't see them going out and giving up the assets that it would take to try to add any of those three players. Appreciate that, Kyle, though, and Lou. Appreciate you both. Chris, appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for the kind words. Appreciate your support on the show. Caden Rep NY, good to see you in the chat, my good friend. Brooklyn boys, what's up, Josh? So since we won't see him in the preseason, these practices are relatively meaningless. How can you be confident about a good start to the season? I don't know what you mean there. How could you be confident? He has to show it in the regular season no matter what. Justin Fields has to prove who he is this season. This is his final year, in my opinion, to prove that he's a starting NFL caliber quarterback. Practices don't mean much because half the time these guys aren't in pads, and even when they're in pads, they're not going full throttle. You can't touch the quarterback. Completely different environment. I think what you have to do is you have to trust what Aaron Glenn is saying if you want to be confident about Fields, and you have to look at his improvement over the past few years while being in awful situations when it comes to teams catering to his skill set and providing him with the tools that he needs to succeed. So I think that's how you get excited, Josh. And Jay Lauren, we may see him in the preseason. I'm hopeful Glenn will play his starters. will play the starters some. He isn't afraid of injuries the way Salah was. I don't know if it's about being afraid of injuries. Glenn's always talking about competition, though, Lauren. And I think Glenn wants to give these young players, these players who are on the roster bubble, opportunities to compete compared to rolling out a guy like Fields, who he's already expressed the utmost confidence in. I think he wants to see the young guys, the players who are competing for roster spots. He wants to see those guys go out, compete, make a stamp on this team, and punch their ticket potentially to the 53-man roster. So that's the way I view it. Appreciate the comment there, Lauren. We'll stay on here about 5 minutes. I got a Nets show at 9:30. Again, subscribe. I don't think I haven't promoted it in a while. Subscribe to my Brooklyn Nets channel. I do it with Josh, the Brooklyn Boys Show. We're almost at 500 subs. Subscribe there. And then here, we're chasing 2,000 subs. We're at 1,898 right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. So smash that like button and hit subscribe, completely free, and it helps us grow significantly right here on the channel. 1,898. Let's hit 2,000 before the season. Smash the like and hit subscribe, my friends. Appreciate the support as always right here on the show. Gil says 8 wins is a distinct possibility. I have them winning 8 games this season. You know, the coaching takes an improvement compared to last year, in my opinion. The defense overall improved. Special teams doesn't cost you any games. I think 8 wins is certainly in sight this year, and I'd be super pleased with an 8-win season. Bay Dynasties. I think Cook should be the third quarterback. I like Cook too. I think he should be the third. Oh, yeah, I think Cook should be the third. Sorry, I thought I pulled up the wrong comment there. I think Cook should be the third quarterback on this team as well, but I see him being a practice squad guy. I think the Jets carry 2 quarterbacks on the roster with Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields, and then Brady Cook is that third guy, obviously currently competing with Adrian Martinez, who lands that spot on the practice squad. I don't think it makes sense with every spot so valuable to carry 3 quarterbacks. I see Cook being the guy on the practice squad who, you know, hopefully you don't have to get there, but if you do need to go to a third quarterback, Cook is the guy. Love what he brings to the table. Love his accuracy. Love his speed, his agility, his mobility overall, his leader, who he is, his presence in the locker room. I'm a big Brady Cook fan, and, you know, hope to see him stick out in the preseason. DMV Football Gauntlet. Shout out to you, Matthew. This is a good show, Connor. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It says, what is the ceiling that Fields can rank among current NFL quarterbacks this season? Good question. This season, I'd say top 13 is the ceiling. Top 12, top 13, I think, is what he can hit next year, though. If he's able to hit that this year and then build on it for next season, I think he can absolutely be a top 10 quarterback. When you look around this league, there are not too many, you know, juggernaut of a quarterback, you know, juggernaut quarterbacks, truly. When you look at the current landscape of the league right now, Fields brings an elite skill set that he has the tools to be a franchise quarterback wherever he goes. It's about applying those tools now, and I think if he's able to hit his ceiling, apply the tools with the Jets and the roster that he has around him, he could be a top 12, a top 13 quarterback in this league. Absolutely. Appreciate the question there, Matthew. Gil says, we'll end with this one. Malachi Moore will start by the end of the season. I think he will as well. I think this injury hurts him. It sets him back a little bit for training camp here, but I fully anticipate that he will start by the end of the season. Aaron Glenn has spoken very highly of him, a 4th-round draft pick out of Alabama, someone who, you know, the Jets, again, feel very confident about, someone who I think is physical enough to play down in the box, to make an impact down there. I agree with that. I think Malachi Moore will ultimately outplay Tony Adams by the time we get, you know, week 12, week 13 of the regular season. So continue to keep an eye on Malachi Moore and this whole Jets secondary. Appreciate you all joining us right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Smash the like button and hit subscribe. We're wrapping up right here on the show. Keep hitting subscribe. Keep hitting the like button. It truly helps us grow so much right here on the show. Daily Jets content. Preseason is upon us. We're going to have pregame, postgame coverage starting from the preseason, ranging all the way through the regular season. So hope you guys enjoy the show. If you have any advice, you want to see anything on the show, you could throw it in our Discord. You could DM me. You can email me. You could throw it in the chat. So many different ways. I want to hear listener feedback, what you think we should do, what you like, what you think we should improve on, what we should experiment. We got so many fun guests coming up, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate the support. I said we're going to wrap up with Gil's comment there. We got to shout out Zachary. Appreciate the comment there. Agree with what you're saying there as well. I'm going to hit this one from John on the way out. Who's a young player you're most excited to watch on the first preseason game? Stay true to my man, Jamal Pritchett. Want to see his juice. Want to see his punt return ability along with his route running ability during game 1 of the preseason. Him and Arian Smith are the 2 guys that I'm looking at, 2 young receivers who are looking to establish themselves in this offense. And those are the 2 guys I'm going to be watching on August 9th against the Green Bay Packers, and obviously the Jets' 2 other preseason games to follow against the Giants and against the Eagles. Appreciate the comment, John, and we appreciate you all joining us right here on NY Flight Jets. Subscribe here. Subscribe to my Brooklyn Nets channel as well, where we're going live at 9:30 p.m. EST. We do shows there every day as well. The Brooklyn Boys Show. Shoot us a sub here. Shoot us a sub there. Appreciate all the support as always. Back tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. EST with Chris Grasso. I will be at Jets training camp tomorrow, the green and white scrimmage, so I'll have an eyewitness breakdown for you guys there. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. Appreciate your support. Smash the like, hit subscribe on your way out of the building. Stay tuned. Daily Jets content right here on the show. We have so many fun guests coming up, so stay tuned for that. Appreciate you all. Like I said, right here on NY Flight Jets Talk, I'm your host, Connor Long, signing off right here on the show. Have a great night, everyone. And as always, JETS, baby. Jets, Jets, Jets. Peace out.